Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Tyler, and today I am bringing you guys What If Quicksilver Survived. I know I haven't uploaded in a while, and that is because I've been sick for a bit, but now I'm feeling a lot better actually. So today I'm recording the most recent video I've actually, got scripted. And What If Chosen Joined Miyagi-Do is on the way. I want to script that and perfect that video to its finest, so you guys are just going to have to wait a little on that. So I'm going to be bringing you guys instead my most recent scripted video, and that is What If Quicksilver Survived. This was one of my first recent MCU what ifs, like from the get-go, that you guys wanted me to do, and Lytro actually recently brought this idea up back in my head a couple days ago, so today I actually wanted to do this what if. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's dive into this what if topic, and I hope you guys do enjoy. So in this timeline, instead of Pietro taking the bullets for Hawkeye, he'd either just save him or dismantle the Ultron bots before they fire off. Point is, he doesn't need to sacrifice himself in Age of Ultron, and it's kind of stupid how he died in the first place, because he can literally perceive people like Ultron and Thor as really slow. The whole scenario to me just doesn't make any sense, because he just got tagged by bullets. He couldn't blitz the bullets. Just weird in my opinion. So we'll just say, for the sake of simplicity, he just saves Hawkeye and the civilian. And after this part of Age of Ultron, the rest of the movie would take place similarly as to its canon self, but with Pietro obviously living to see the day and no one really dying by the end of Age of Ultron. Now, Pietro would definitely join the Secret Avengers along with his sister Wanda, so in this timeline we would get Quicksilver interacting with Team Captain America pre-Civil War, which I can definitely see Quicksilver developing respect for Captain America and trying to follow down a right path. Pietro really didn't have a life for the most part. He was rather isolated, and throughout most of Age of Ultron, he was just manipulated. All he had was really Wanda. Pietro would now be living his life to what he wanted to do, living his life to the fullest, trying to save and protect people, and slowly becoming an Avenger. He would be training obviously with Captain America, along with people like Black Widow and Falcon, and even spar with his sister Wanda in terms of hand-to-hand, because Cap and Natasha would be teaching not only Wanda in terms of hand-to-hand, but also Pietro, as that was confirmed pre-Civil War. Now, before we get into specifically Civil War, I want to get into some interactions he could have with some of the Avenger members, specifically Natasha. I think he and her can definitely form a friendship, since both of them pretty much had a messed up childhood from the get-go and didn't really have a lot of freedom. She can be that person looking out for Pietro, similarly to Hawkeye to Wanda. I think he and Captain America would also have something similar, because Cap has been in ice before and obviously is trying to get his life back together. Same with Pietro, who just wants to save people and do better. Him being on the team would also help him improve his combat ability. Instead of just running into people, he can actually fight hand to hand and use that in conjunction with his speed. So now, instead of people being able to predict Pietro, he would actually be a little bit more unpredictable, given the fact that now he knows what he's hitting and he knows how to hit people now. He's not just charging into people like a moron. Pietro would also get along with everyone else just fine, and they would also help him gain experience as well. By the time Civil War rolls around, he'd be with Cap fighting Crossbones, and he would apply his speed and hand-to-hand to body slam Crossbones with Captain America. Now, as Crossbones is about to sacrifice himself, I would get Wanda still reacting, because I think Quicksilver would be initially surprised and wouldn't be expecting this, and Wanda is slowly moving Crossbones to the building, and she's slowly having a harder time being able to control Crossbone. As Quicksilver is understanding the situation, he would then slow down everything by moving so fast, and he would proceed to actually get everyone that's in that building before the explosion goes off out of there. Now, this is a pretty good thing, because now Wanda doesn't have to have that on her consciousness, that she killed all these people. However, I do think the Sokovia Accords would still drift the Avengers apart, and Black Panther and all that Winter Soldier stuff is still going to be happening, which still, I believe, leads into the airport battle or the teams being formed, which Quicksilver would definitely be on Captain America's team, as not only is his sister on that team, not only Hawkeye is on that team, but Captain America is also on that team, who he follows. I think Quicksilver also just isn't going to be that much of a fan of Stark, even though Natasha's on that team, but it is what it is. So with that being said, Quicksilver would be on Captain America's team, and when Iron Man and Captain America are initially talking and Spider-Man steals Cap's shield, instead of Ant-Man moving to the scene, Quicksilver blitzes up to Spider-Man and punches him in the side of the head, and quickly gives Cap back his shield, because Quicksilver doesn't want anyone trying to disrespect Captain America like that, so he's not going to have time for that. The airport battle ensues, and everybody's just basically basically going at it. And yes, even when they run at each other, that iconic scene, yes, we would have Quicksilver using his super speed to basically outspeed anyone there and gunning for War Machine. He would proceed to blitz War Machine similarly to how he did to Iron Man in the comics, and we would get basically War Machine just getting bodied by Quicksilver rather than Captain America. Now after this, I can definitely see Quicksilver facing off against Natasha or coming in to go and help Ant-Man fight Natasha. Reason why is because Natasha and Pietro are actually homies, so I think we could get a nice interaction here. And instead of, you know, Hawkeye and Natasha fighting and Natasha basically fighting a holding back Hawkeye, it would be Quicksilver still pulling his punches, but he's still way faster than Natasha, so Natasha can't even hit him, and Natasha is swiftly defeated. Now, instead of Natasha being the one to go and stop Black Panther, basically when Vision destroys the tower and Scarlet Witch is holding it up, Quicksilver would use his super speed to get in there and basically distract Black Panther as Bucky and Captain America then escape. Now, Quicksilver would be much faster than Black Panther, I definitely would say, since Black Panther is sort of relative to Captain America and Bucky in terms of speed, but his AP and durability, especially with this suit he has on, I don't think Quicksilver can actually harm him. So in all honesty, I could just see Quicksilver trying to apply his hand-to-hand with his speed, basically landing all these attacks but not really doing too much damage. If he's going to do some serious damage, he needs to build up his speed. There's really no distance Quicksilver could also build up speed upon because, you know, they're in a closed-in area. So Captain America and Bucky escape while Black Panther swiftly defeats Quicksilver. And Vision would still go on to blast War Machine accidentally, and this would lead into Iron Man going over to Captain America and Bucky. Black Panther would forgive Bucky and is done letting revenge consume him, and he also stops Zemo from committing suicide. So the end of Civil War is pretty much the same. And now we can dive into Infinity War / Endgame, which is definitely, I think, the best part of the What If in my opinion. So let's get into it. Pietro, I believe, would be with the Secret Avengers. So when Vision and Wanda get attacked by Proxima Midnight and Corvus Glaive, we would have not only Natasha and Cap come in, but Pietro coming in even earlier before they come in because, you know, obviously he has super speed to go and help out his sister. He would rush in to basically help out Wanda against Proxima Midnight, and the two of them would then combat her, while Vision would be struggling with Corvus Glaive due to him being fatigued. Luckily though, Wanda manages to help out Vision, while Quicksilver's speed would just overwhelm Proxima, and Cap, Falcon, and Natasha would come in. Cap and Natasha would help combo Corvus Glaive just like in canon, and Pietro and Wanda would deal with Proxima, which with Wanda a little bit enraged along with Quicksilver's overwhelming speed, Proxima is going to be taken care of relatively easily, and instead of Proxima actually retreating with an injured Corvus, both of them are now injured, and so I think both of them are definitely going to die at this point. So by the time when the Wakanda battle rolls around, there's really only one Black Order member alive, that being Cole Obsidian. So Pietro would basically just be along with the rest of the Avengers that fight in Wakanda, but I think Quicksilver would actually allow them to actually turn the tides against the Outriders specifically, because we saw Captain America and Black Panther getting slightly overwhelmed, but with Quicksilver's overwhelming speed advantage, he can come in and actually take care of these guys and allow the Avengers to actually, you know, get some space and actually take out the Outriders without them getting overwhelmed. If they were getting overwhelmed, Quicksilver would just come in and aid them. So with that being said, we would still get Thanos, you know, on Titan and getting the Soul Stone and getting the rest of the stones as Infinity War goes on, and eventually he would arrive at Wakanda. Now, I think when Thanos arrives and they're realizing that Vision is actually not, you know, ready to remove the stone yet, and they're going to need a lot more time, Wanda would just head over to where Vision is, and Vision would tell her to destroy the stone. And Wanda would basically be doing so while everyone else would be stalling against Thanos. Quicksilver would decide to start using his max speed and not really caring about the repercussions to his body because he needs to defeat Thanos, but Thanos would actually reveal to Quicksilver that he is capable of reacting to him, and he would put his arm up, which Quicksilver would just run into and basically fall on his face. Wanda would manage to destroy the stone, but when Thanos arrives to the tower, he would just reverse time specifically onto Vision, smack Wanda away, and take the Mind Stone. And like in canon, Thor would off-guard Thanos and would almost get the job done, but luckily he didn't aim for the head, and Thanos would then snap. The people who did vanish would still get snapped, and the people who stayed alive would stay alive, but you guys are probably asking now, what about Pietro? Well, I think Pietro should stay alive. Reason why is because I feel like it would just add more to the whole Lost theme, and this could actually give Pietro a character arc he kind of needs right now, which you guys would see what I'm gonna get into now. So basically, he would lose everything. He would lose all of his homies, including his sister. He would begin to freak out, but luckily Natasha would manage to try and calm him down, and Pietro is just willing to do anything to bring his sister back. Weeks would obviously pass, and like in canon, they would get a location on Thanos, and they would all go on to go and jump him, with Pietro not really adding anything new to the table. Regardless, Thor is just going to go and kill Thanos, and 5 years would pass. I would say during these 5 years, Pietro is basically just trying to scrap up what he could really do and what he's been doing beforehand, which is basically saving people and making people basically move on from the past, with him not really moving on because he still wants to save his sister. It's very similar to that of Captain America, but obviously Pietro is going to execute this arc in a different manner, which you guys would soon see. But before we get into that, we would still be revealed that Ant-Man is actually alive, and basically the possibility of time travel, and all that stuff is basically taking place as per normal, with Pietro now being included on the team and basically being told to do whatever it takes. Now, this is where I think Pietro would decide to go with Natasha and Hawkeye, because those are two of his good homies, and they would go to Vormir. And the other Avengers would go to their original location as per normal. Now, I think here, this is where we would get basically, Red Skull explaining to them as to how to get the Soul Stone, and this would lead into Natasha and Clint deciding to argue over it and deciding that they're going to be one of the people to actually sacrifice themselves. While they would be fighting about it and basically racing each other and beating each other up to try and get an advantage over the other to try and jump off the cliff, Pietro would be hesitant and would remember the words, "whatever it takes." Now, as Natasha is about to actually jump off along with Clint, this is where the both of them would be suddenly placed back as to where they started, and they would then see Pietro in front of them, indicating Pietro used his super speed. Pietro would then say to Clint he didn't see that coming, as he would then jump off. Pietro was willing to do whatever it takes to bring his sister back, and I think here this is honestly the best arc we can give Pietro, which sadly cost him his life. Anyways, Natasha would get the Soul Stone, as Pietro and her were basically like best friends at that point, and Hawkeye and him were also good friends. And with that being said, they would get the Soul Stone, and rather being upset over Natasha's death, they would be upset over Pietro's. Now, the only thing that really changes in this timeline is that Natasha's alive, and since Pietro wasn't even in the original movie in the first place, nothing really changes, and Natasha's actually around to live to see the day. And also Iron Man would sacrifice himself like in canon. And that's really where the changes for this what if end. I think Pietro sacrificing himself is the best way to go, and honestly this timeline was pretty solid. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this is where I'm going to be leaving things off, and if you did enjoy this video, be sure to give a thumbs up along with sharing with your friends, and comment down below what other what ifs you would like me to do, along with considering hitting the sub button and hitting the bell icon. That way you are notified and updated when I upload. My name is Ty Learn. Follow me on Twitter, link in the description, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out. Have a nice rest of the day, everybody.